Before jumping into the build, I wanted to throw some context. Try this build in hardcore twice. I died to a very weird bug. Okay, I made a video about it. You can check it out. And then I died to DC. Okay, typical DC. It's been a problem in Diablo 4 2 for this first season. So I decided to, because I was dying like that, to try the build in softcore. Since the season was only 1 month, I wanted to try the end game to see the true potential of the build, okay? But the context is that this build was meant for hardcore. I like it in hardcore. It's a tanky build. It's a build that can clear with very good AoE, even though it has some trouble versus one target, particularly elites, not so much bosses. When you're playing softcore, it's gonna feel like it's not a glass cannon build. So that's what I like about it, because the meta right now is a lot of glass cannon builds. So if you like those type of build, you like playing softcore with a build that could potentially be viable in hardcore, well, this is gonna be, you might want to try it out. Furthermore, because of the bug I died to, I've been talking to other people, the similar bugs. I do not recommend the build in hardcore for the time being, as long as they don't fix the bug. It's very random. You just die to your own Nova. I don't know what triggers it. No one knows. Could be dashing, could be being close to the edge. Some people say it's the goblin, but it's definitely a bug. Okay, and until that it gets fixed, I will not recommend it. But still, it's an alternative build. Okay, softcore, even you don't need to get to top 100 like I did. Can be fine for particularly for the first 80 levels. Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive right into the build. My setup used to be, instead of the Crepify, a Bone Storm, I used to have the Golem, okay? And I will use the Bone Prison along with the extra essence and the Vulnerable, okay? Even though 45 is not bad, I wanted the Vulnerable for my bosses and elites. In that a lot of elite mods just destroy the Bone Prison very fast. That was one of the reasons to change it. Then also the Golem will start dying very fast from level 85 plus dungeons. So I decided to replace it. This setup makes more sense with the equipment, but until that point I wanted just something I could spam, right? Just want some build that was easy, one button, and then Corpse Tendrils, along with restore of your primary resource when you CC to give the meter back and gain some CC versus the hard elites. So it's not that the Crepify is bad with the Bone Storm, okay, getting some tankiness too. Actually, you gain some damage reduction and 10% life because you sacrifice the Golem. But it's just that early on, it's not necessary. Early on, don't go for this, so you can simplify your gameplay and go faster. With that being said, let's review. It's just 1 point in Rip. Why Rip over others? Sure, Emorat is Blood, so Evolutionary is better. But the actual passive says Blood skill will overpower, so I don't want my basic to overpower. I want Blood Mist and Blood Surge, right? So I go Rip for also generating a corpse. Generating corpse gives me 45. Generating a corpse gives me 45. Generating a corpse gives me allows me to cast Corpse Tendrils. Then we go Blood Mist. I put 3 points for the cooldown because I replaced the Golem for the Crepify and I have the amplified damage now. So I used to have it with 5, right, for the cooldown, but I don't know, maybe we could switch that for something else. I'm not very happy just having 3 points and not going all the way in. Then the Crepify, amplified damage is one of the main reasons to go the Crepify. But also the fact that you can reduce the cooldown for the ultimate is key. All the passes that give damage, okay, the one that gives 45, very important, 45 on Corpse. Corpse Tendrils, you don't really need the Corpse Tendrils cooldown to go lower, honestly, so don't even get on the gear. Then Bone Storm, I'll go for the critical chance because honestly, I don't have critical chance. Obviously the passive and the sacrifice, honestly, I like it a lot. Okay? Like the fact that you can just get all this damage reduction because you have no minion, I like it a lot. And the gear, I go very defensive, hardcore style, okay? It's probably something you can have some flex slots in softcore. I like the barrier because I have also temerity, so the idea is to overheal with to get temerity, right? Over here with the blood swords to get a temerity barrier. And whenever I cannot do that, I have this barrier. That way I keep the 45. The bubble, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But on the Necro seems good because this way you won't trigger all the time this whenever you are in a rough situation. Necro's problems that only have one anti-CC. So this is not only for damage, also you become immune to CC. So I think it's good. Here we have damage based on my primary resource, just a multiplier there. The anti-CC that I recommend in every hardcore build. Increased damage, we have an active barrier, synergizes with this and temerity. This just synergizes with overpower and overpowering with blood swords that heals you. Also potions work for overhealing. Works any heal effect, like heal or life on kill, that's why I have side. Even though that you could have the daggers that can have close enemies damage, okay. Restore the source, blood source no icons again, okay, very obvious. And increase armor that also seems mandatory for every hardcore build. These two can be flex, even though the barrier is good, these two can be flex. Okay, I think the armor and the anti-CC seems kind of mandatory for hardcore. Now I'm gonna do just some, you know, gameplay. Let's see if I remember how this plays. Basically, you go around the map and just AoE and everything with a passive, right? And when you get 5, you also have the one from the passive from the blood swords. And you can see that the build is fairly clean. The problem with the build is that it's not very consistent. See, I don't have any passive now. I don't have essence. So what will happen is that in that scenario, I don't really have a fast way of killing things. But every 12 seconds here and 5 casts there, I'm really clean, right? The thing about this build is that most of the times, I don't even have 45 right now, okay? I'm building it. It's one of the problems too. Early on the map, you're weaker and the mid part of the map. So you get an elite that's very hard for you. In the start of the map, you're in trouble, right? The thing about this build is it's meant to tank everything. The moment you cannot tank one thing, for example, Colin Chang will hit you and freeze you very fast. You're gonna be in real trouble. So that's one of the problems. The build, that's why I have this. Try to mitigate it, okay? But this is more or less how it plays. You go in, you spam blood swords, you get the passive for blood swords, you get the passive every 12 seconds that got buffed recently too. And when you overpower, you're gonna clear everything on the screen. That's the reason why you want cost reduction, okay? Essence cost reduction. Maximum essence you can get also in rings and in helmet. Okay? That's why cost reduction also goes on the seal. Because that way you can spam more essence, and very important, rush it. Try to rush it to get the essence on point. Essence on kill on the Paragon tree, okay? Besides that, it's very straightforward. Try to go with maximum health. The Paragon tree on the Necro is not even that good, okay? This is the first board with the Bloodbath, okay? Then I try to go for essence on kill fast, so I could get the extra essence bonus, 8 essence. Maybe it's not worth. I could go for another wheel, but I like this 4% too. So I decided this board to be the second, because as you put boards, you know this, right? The requirements are gonna increase. Then I went from Scent of Death for damage reduction for hardcore, okay? And then here I have some small value with maximum life. This is just for the intelligence and to travel to get the dex for the glyph, okay? The glyphs I chose were dominate when you overpower, obviously. Exploit, mandatory in every build, vulnerable damage. Great Keeper, territorial, damage reduction on close enemy, also very good for hardcore. The increased damage to close targets is okay, but nothing crazy because it's additive to all the other overpower damage and so on. And then on Daunt, Damage reduction with 45, increase damage with 45, okay. Pretty much. And besides that, is mostly that. Like, then I go, you scale a lot with light, that's what the rubies, and you put armor in there. Nothing else to talk about the good things about the build and bad things about the build. One of the good things is that it's viable, okay, it's a fine build, can get you to 100. Honestly, it didn't cost me even that much in Diablo 4. Getting to 100, even solo, is not a big deal. And this build can definitely do it, okay? It's not a bomb waste build. One of the main reasons to play this build is because you want to play a meta build, you want to play something different, something that you feel like you're making a different decision compared to what the meta and the developers want you to play, that is Bone, because Bone synergizes with the crit and vulnerable. And power right now it's a bit more complicated than that, right? It doesn't scale well with those two things. But this is a different build, and maybe you're fine with that, just playing something else. If that's the case for Necro, this is a good option. It is tanky. It has a lot of bleeds. Bleeds in a way is tankiness too, is defense, because they get you down, right? They hit you, and then you just heal or even over heal and create the barrier with temerity. Temerity is easy to target farm, and more now with the recent change on health types, you just go for bans. I thought it was like that before, but it wasn't. Even though that temerity is not that hard to get, maybe a good roll is a bit harder, but temerity is not that hard to get in any case, okay, even without the health type change. But now with health types, uniques will drop from the chest, so just go for the punch if you want that piece, and it synergizes very, very well with this build. It's one of the reasons to go for this build. Also, the fact that you need minions, you're fine with the golem that gives you 10% life. You get a lot of DR, okay, with this class. Or power scales with life, that's what you want to do, both in softcore and hardcore anyway. So that's A, easy to understand, right? You just put life on items, put the rubies. And B is good because you get a lot of life per level anyway, and can help you scale a little bit, particularly into the last levels. Has great AoE. Sometimes you throw the overpower and you kill things on the screen and you don't know they were there yet. Now let's go to the cons. It's not hardcore viable only because of the bug that I mentioned before. It's a weird bug, it happened to me in softcore, but happened to a lot of people. People whisper me. People went to my Twitch channel and tell me, hey, I have this guy that also has this bug. I got this bug too. So right now I will not recommend the build for hardcore just because this is bug. Otherwise, we'll be fine. Even that in the last levels, you're gonna need to be careful because Necros is not a thing of the build, but Necros has a very big problem with CC, and you are very close melee, right? So even without the book, you need to be careful because since you are close melee, you're gonna be in front of packs more often, and it will hit you more often. And the problem is that the CC from Call Enchant, for example, it's gonna destroy you. You don't kill the packs fast enough, okay? Sometimes you're not gonna kill the packs fast enough. As long as you stay in the 3 levels ahead of you should be fine. In softcore, I was pushing 6 levels, 8 levels, up to 8 levels in terms of the dungeon, right? The dungeon map was 8 levels ahead of me, just to go a bit faster. But I wouldn't recommend that, okay? Otherwise, I think it should be fine for hardcore, but maybe, we need a little bit more love and this bug fix. Lacks damage compared to big meta builds, this is a fact. Right now, the meta in Diablo 4 is, okay, you have this class, okay? What spells of this class synergize better with A, vulnerability, B, critical damage, and critical chance? That's basically it, okay? So this being an overpower is not going to scale as good. And lack of damage means that you're gonna be in trouble more often because you just one-shot everything, you cannot die, right? But that lack of offense is also a flaw in the defense. Now, where Diablo 4 is a lot like Diablo 3, you wanna kill everything on the screen very fast. Instead, the game is way slower, so it's kind of weird because you still favor killing everything on the screen very fast so they don't overwhelm you, even with the pace of Diablo 4 being way slower than Diablo 3. So it's kind of weird. So that's the problem, but we'll see if we get some love in the future patch. It is clunky until even that early on is fine, cleaning, okay. It is clunky until you get some extra essence and essence of skill in a Paragon in particular. You get the power with you get the primary source when you CC until you get this aspect that gives you essence for every enemy CC that you combine with core tendrils. You can use the Modest Embrace that drops at the end of the campaign. Don't worry, also drops after that. Okay, so fairly good one. Helps you a little bit with the clunkiness because sometimes you can rotate the whole passive of Blood Surge, right? You Blood Surge with overpower and you get resource, so you can go to the point where you get also another 5 stacks to your power again. So helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot. But until that point, it does feel a bit clunky, even that early on it's not a back clearing. But honestly, I didn't mind that much because you know how to play using the stacks and waiting for the big enemies and hoarding a little bit, right? Going around the enemies until you get the whole pack and get the passive, you are mostly fine. Lane levels, because of the lack of damage compared to the other builds, lane levels can feel like you're losing power. This is a common thing in Diablo 4, okay? You have these peaks of power and then you start going down as you go progress in the difficulty. And you go up and down, right? Once you go to the next difficulty, for example, to Nightmare, to Torment, you get the Ancient Year, you go a bit up again, and you go down. Because it doesn't scale that well with the critical and vulnerability, the build does feel like you lose a lot of power and the light levels. I can feel a bit frustrating, okay? The good clear early with no items is something that this build has. But again, the clunkiness is the fact that you're gonna run out offensive very fast in the early levels. Even though you can clear the whole screen with one overpower, can make the build be slow and clunky, okay? Even that you really don't need items unless you really want to make the build more consistency. Basically, the build a bit feels like Pulverize. First, you have your Pulverize build that feels strong, right? And then you not only need to make it stronger and keep scaling the damage, but you need to keep making it more reliable, more consistent in your DPS, right? So to keep the DPS more consistent, otherwise it feels very clunky. It happens with this overpowered Blood Surge too. There is ways to get to 100 in Softcore, definitely, like Bone, or I'm not even gonna mention other builds, like other classes that are more obvious. And that's a fact, okay? Particularly because Bone, for example, is gonna use range, it's gonna scale better. But again, this is a build you feel like you don't wanna use the build that everyone is using. And maybe want something like less glass cannon. As I said, I also talk about the uniques. Dead Speaker Pendant is an amulet that basically what it does is you cast the Blood Nova. The Blood Nova also is cast on your minions. So your minions act like a source of mini Blood Novas around them. But it still counts as your sword, so you leech, you overpower. I was using this on my first run, but because I died to the bug, I thought that Dead Pendant could be one of the causes of the bug. So I stopped using it. And then I like more the build without the pendant. The pendant does give some damage and it's more interesting. So maybe you wanna do it in softcore. But I don't know, I feel like without the minions was too much trouble, they die too fast, you need to recast them all the time, even that you can get some synergy with Cops consumption. I feel like the build was a bit faster and smoother without the minions, okay? So as a general conclusion, I think the build is just mid. It's just something that I play because I wanted to play my own build. Also try minions, super clunky, got me killed in hardcore. In general, the Necro is fairly weak to CC, and this is a struggle in hardcore. But this build is as tanky as it can get, and you play safe. You play with enemies that are not too high level ahead of you. I think you should be fine. It's a tanky build. You have a lot of leads. The leveling, honestly, the experience while leveling, honestly, was fairly good. Again, it's a build I play a lot. I feel fine with the build. I like the build. It's a build you need to like. It's not the super meta build, and that's what I like about it. So you definitely need to like how it feels, how it plays out. I really didn't feel like a big drop until like level 85 plus, even 90. And I was doing content way ahead of me, like even at 8 levels. and it was a bit clunky, but I was getting the job done. So it's definitely like, even that is way worse compared to other builds, like Diablo 4 right now doesn't have like a lot of difficulty going on besides Uber Lilith. So I feel like almost any build can get to 100, and that's why I wanted to do this build. It's like my build. I never check any guide. I don't know what other people do with blood swords. I don't think many people are playing blood swords at all. So I just wanted to share my experience, 1 to 100, okay? And yeah, I will try also in the future. I want to make this 100 a series, okay? So in the future, maybe I can share more interesting builds. I'm gonna try to deviate to the obvious, most streamlined cookie cutter, naming how you like build. I'm gonna try to avoid the builds that are really obvious and super meta, and try to bring something different, and try to get to 100 both in softcore and in hardcore. So I hope you guys enjoy, and see you in the next video. Peace out.